Guys, if you're a fan of the Sly Guy podcast and you want to get bonus content, you want to get bonus podcasts, you want to get the extra Sly Guy podcast, you want to get Dog Walks with Davey, you want to get the weekly guest episode, which is out every Friday, and now you want to get access to sort of behind the scenes footage, vlogs, other things, head to patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast. That's patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast. Say it with me, patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast. Whereas for as little as £2, you can get access to all my shit. Check it out. We've got Patreon. Guys, it's the last time I'm plugging the Ulster Hall show, because this time next week, it'll be done. It'll be over. The slog is finished. And what will be, will be. Que sera, sir fucking ah. But if you're listening to this on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, so if you're listening to this on the 10th of September, the 9th, or the 8th, get in the link in this bio and please buy the last of the tickets. I don't know what I would do. See if it's sold out. Jesus in heaven, Lord knows what I would do. I think at this point I would suggest what I should, if this sells out, suggest what I should do, because I do, if like fucking you name it, I'll do it, because I would love it that much. But hey, get tickets anyway. It'll be a good time. And then from next week, we'll just have the Patreon read. I'm modest. What's the point in subscribing to the Patreon to get the ad-free episodes after next week? Because you'll not be doing this. But follow the link in the bio. I hope you come to the show and hope you enjoy it. And yeah, that's the worst read I've done for the Ulster Hall show, because it just is. But it's the last one. We're getting there. Come on. The Sly Guy podcast is brought to you by Modest Beer. It always is and always will be. www.modestbeer.co.uk. Get the beer, get the merch, follow them on social media at Modest Beer. Enjoy the podcast.
I'm the Sly Guy.
Guys, girls, people who do not identify as those terms, welcome to your favourite solo podcast, the Sly Guy podcast, with me. Say it with me. Yes, Dave Elliott, it is I. Welcome to the podcast. I am too hot. And I don't mean sexy. And so some people might think I'm sexy, probably gay men with bear fetishes. Majority of people don't think I'm sexy. I'm not hot sexy. I think sometimes I'm feeling myself, sometimes I'm hot. This time, I'm just hot. You know, I am hotter than the devil's dick in a heat wave. I'm not feeling too comfortable in this space. I don't know why it is so warm. So again, for those that have been DMing me going, Dave, you sweat a lot. I do my podcast in the sauna. Shut up, okay? But welcome. Welcome to the podcast. I hope everyone's in good spirits. You know, I want to say just off the top, I'm not going to talk about this very much. I'm just going to nip it in the bud right at the beginning. And I just want to say to everybody who reached out to me in the last week, sent me a message, you know, whether they listened to last week's podcast that I did with Willie and felt like I needed a metaphorical arm around the shoulder, you know, needed a wee hypothetical arm around the shoulder, not metaphor, you know, a hypothetical arm around the shoulder. And they said, listen, Dave, keep trucking, brother. I respect that. And to those who messaged me to say, listen, we like what you're talking about. It made us feel good. I'm glad. Because last week's episode, I was a big, miserable guy. Wasn't in a good headspace last week. Really had to crank down on my own, I don't know, is it an imposter syndrome thing? Like a real anxiety thing? I was just really struggling with everything last week. I think it was the worst week I have had in terms of my bounce since I've been a full-time comedian for a lot of other things. Definitely questioning myself a lot, questioning, you know, should I be doing this? Am I good enough to do this? You know, and it was a problem. And again, I do believe it all kind of has stemmed from, I just had a shocking gig last week, like really bad. Well, you know, when you just want the ground to swallow you up, nobody's listening to a word to say. They don't quite get what you're saying. They hate you. And I just couldn't win it round. It was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. You'd be pleased to know I've been gigging since then and it's gone well. So that has restored some of my faith. not only in myself, but in what I'm doing. So that's good. That's positive. And I was kind of just decided with regards to other things like the work in progress shows or the Ulster Hall show. What will be will be. You know, it's a very late in the day to say that, you know, we're going to sell it out. Which whenever I booked the show, that was my target. I'll be honest, that was my sole objective for this year's show, was to just let's sell it out. We didn't quite make it last year. Let's do it this year. And I don't think that's going to happen. Now, if there's some miracle happens this week and it does, great. But that was my goal at the very start of booking this. I thought, you know, you need to see progression. That's part of life. You know, if you wanna do anything, there's no point in standing still or digressing. You have to always be progressing. Otherwise, you're wasting time. And I don't know if I've said this before in the podcast. What annoys me more than anything in the world is when I waste my time. For example, when I recorded the introduction to this podcast 10 minutes ago, and I was just so sweaty because I was stressed out about setting up the studio, whether or not the camera was in focus, which here's the thing, I don't know if it is. Fingers crossed it is for those watching, because what has been happening is I've been setting up the camera to do the podcast. There's some sort of weird wee function on it, so it auto functions and it changes. When I set it, it changes, and then it melts my head, and I've done our content and I get stressed out. But you'll be pleased to know I've given less of a fuck about that sort of thing now, and I'm just freewheeling into my week of shows, and I am excited. You know, I think after last week's, I guess we could call it on air potential bit of a podcast breakdown. Hey, took a wee step back and focused on what's important in life, and that you know what that is, guys. Having a good time. And last week I had a good week. I had an enjoyable week. I spent some time with my wife. We went out to a concert. We went to see Snow Patrol in Bangor. And whenever that was happening, I was sort of thinking, I'll go watch the concert and then we'll go home. You know, we'll go see the concert, go home, nice. Then as I got closer, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have a drink. And you might know this again. If you listen to the podcast regularly, you may be aware that I do talk about not drinking that much. I'm not against drinking. I enjoy when I do drink. I love to drink, I'll be honest. But unfortunately for me, God or whoever you believe, or just, I don't know, science or nature, whatever you believe, has it in for me when it comes to hangovers. I cannot cope with being hungover around my kids. They have no respect. They are insatiable, and they are the two. They scream in sync. And I mean, like, they scream at the same time. They don't just scream, ba, ba, ba. They're like, they scream, and it's just, my head couldn't cope with it. I think, and more often than not, I'm saying, I can deal with this, so I'll not drink. When at the Snow Patrol concert, I just thought, you know what? What little hair daddy has is getting let down. I'm going out. I'm not worrying about tomorrow. I'm going to live in the moment, and I'm going to have a good time. And guess what, guys? I had a good time. We went out, we walked from the house down into Bangor on the night of the show. Now, for those of you who don't know, Snow Patrol's lead singer, Gary Lightbody, has been given the freedom of the city of Bangor, which is my new goal now. It was to sell out the Ulster Hall, failed in that goal. This goal is to get the freedom of Bangor eventually. So you're hearing it here first. Let's do it. Let's get me the freedom of Bangor, because I love Bangor and they love me, I hope. Right? So it was just a great time. It was like, you know what? They're playing in Bangor. And what I like about Snow Patrol is their music, and also the fact that they just put on gigs in pretty cool places in Bangor. Which what's good about that is it's local to me. So I don't have to pay a taxi. I can walk home. Do you know what I mean? I can do that. It's great. They put on a gig down at the waterfront, and it was just great. You know, just down, 20-minute walk from the gaff. Head on down, couple of drinks, good time. You know, and it was a nice atmosphere. The vibe about the place was pretty good. Now I'm talking of this. I had TikTok star Gady on my guest podcast. It'll be out this week, and he's taught me some phrases, and he's told me, listen, it was a vibe, and Snow Patrol was a vibe. The whole atmosphere was good. Everyone just had a great time, and it was a great concert. So whenever we headed down, we stopped in at a couple of bars on the way. Had a few pints. I was just getting just getting the pints into me. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if anyone else gets this, but whenever, like, I can go out for like one, or like when I say a pint, I mean I would sooner go out and just drink water at a bar or a coffee than I would just have one beer. But I was feeling good on Wednesday night, I'll be honest, and I had one or two beers in this first bar, and then I had a couple other beers in another bar, and then I thought, fuck it, we're on holidays, and that's what I just kept saying. It doesn't mean it's totally a lie. Fully had the kids next day, but I just kept saying I'm on holidays because I was taking a day off work. I was like, fuck it, we're on holidays, let's just fucking give it stacks. So then I got a shot. My wife wasn't too keen on the shot, but at this point I was like, hey, this is what's happening, we're going to have a good time. We headed down to the concert. I was just getting more and more drinks. And then it came to a point where she was like, I don't want to drink any more cider. And I was like, don't worry, I've already ordered you 2. I've got 2, there's 4 ciders here. And she said, you're going to have to drink them by yourself. Usually I'd be like, nah, bin it off, it's all good. On Wednesday, we had the fun time party, Davey. And I was like, nah, fuck it, I will drink these. So I was just drinking pints upon pints. I remember speaking to loads of people, but not remembering anything that I've said. Do you ever have nights like that where you're like, you have wee weird flashbacks of people you've not seen in years, and you're like, oh fuck, I haven't seen them in about 10 years. What have I said? No clue at all. Not at all. So the concert itself was great. I ended up absolutely blootered. I had a real taste for it. I was really, really thirsty, and I went to get another 4 pints, but again, she wasn't drinking, so just 4 pints for me because it was on my holidays. And I got up to the bar, and there's a barmaid working there because that's where barmaids usually frequent. And she said to me, she was like, oh, the bar's shut. And I was like, whoa, I was just about to start wrecking the place. And I said, the bar's closed, but I would like a drink. And she went, well, the bar's closed. And I went, but I'd really like a drink. And she went, okay, don't say a word. Shut the door, baby. Don't say a sh. But then she said, if it just so happens that a pint of beer, cider, whatever lands in front of you, I'm not going to say it's for the bin. So that wee legend gave me a pint of cider. She hooked me up, she sorted me out, and gave me potentially 8 or 9. Give me my 8th or 9th pint past the point of where I should have stopped drinking. So she just gave me the icing on the cake. And then we got, now this is it, the next day, right? So we'll fast forward. So the end of the gig, we left the gig. I don't know. We did. We went to try to go, this is how we went to try and go to what I guess you could call a nightclub. I don't know if it is a nightclub or it's just a bar, but I mean, like, it's not like a pub, it's a bar. So we went in this bar. It was too full. I was like, listen, I'm in the mood to party. Let's all fucking party. Headed in this bar. Instantly was like, not in the mood to party anymore. Let's rock. Went back to the pub where we started. Had one more drink. I think Catherine had like a fucking water or something and a panic attack. It's like, I don't know how to control this wild party guy. But it was a lot of fun. And then we got ourselves home. The next day, we woke up, and I must be honest and say, never have I felt worse in my life. Ever. I was absolutely dying. Like, when you wake up and you feel like somebody's just been squeezing your head, but their mouth's also a hairdryer. So they've just been squeezing your head and just breathing, just hairdryer into your face and just drying your whole face, but whilst crushing your head. That's what I felt like in the morning. And then the baby was just screaming. And it was just, this is a bad combination of everything. And then we were doing sort of the breakdown of the night in bed. Catherine was like, you were in great form last night. And I was like, yes, good. Happy days. That's at least one, thing to relax about. That's because you could, when you get that hammered, you can potentially not be able to speak, but you can potentially go to that next level of where you go past being sound and you just turn into a total prick. And I was at the stage of having no recollection of that. And then I remember saying to her, how do we home? Do we walk home? She's like, nah, your sister came and got us. And I was like, oh no. What's weird about that, right? My sister lives in London. So I don't know why she was there, or For what reason? But she was there, brought us home. So in my wee hungover head, I couldn't fathom why she was in the country. And then obviously it was because Holly started school last week and she was just there for that. But in my hungover state, I was like, did we wait until she flew? Did she fly over here to bring me home? Was I in that bad of state? And then she was like, no, you fucking idiot. She was already home. I was like, oh, thank God for that. Because I would have felt guilty. See, if I'd have forced her to get it, I was like, listen, you need to fly here. I'm going to fucking not make it. I'm going to fucking... If you don't come home here, I'm not fucking going to make it. And she's like, not going to make it? Shit, like, let's get the first flight, get over there. I don't know what he's doing. I listened to his podcast last week with Willie. I don't know what he's up to now. The guy's fucking lost his head. And then, you know, I'm not going to make it. Not going to make it where? Not going to make it home. It's like, you're literally 10 minutes from home, you know, so I'm glad she was in the country and gave me a lift home. Next to that, she's like, also, do you remember doing press-ups in front of my mum? Now, I'm 35. I'm a guy who's only just rediscovering his body. I sound like a teenager who's just discovered his dick for the first time. I am a man who's just discovering his body. And I'm just discovering my physical athleticism again, having been just grossly out of any kind of practice of physical activity for a long time. So in the last number of weeks, I've been exercising a lot more. I'm feeling better. I'm working out a bit more. And for some reason, and again, this is the problem too, I have actually zero recollection of this. So there is a possibility that Catherine could have just got in cahoots with her mum and just decided just to totally mug me and make a dick of me, which I would appreciate in some regards, but also, you know, she was like, yeah, you did press ups in front of my mum. I was like, oh no, that doesn't get much more embarrassing. Like, in what context did I just say to her, do you want to see me do press ups? And she went, no. And I went, well, that's good. At least I didn't just say, do you want to see me do press ups? She went, no. You called her into the living room. And I was like, oh no, what have I done? You got on the floor. You called the dog and you told her, watch how I hug my dog on the ground, and then proceeded to just hug your dog on the ground. And then after that, you made her pick a number between 1 and 20, and she picked the number 18, and then you proceeded to do 18 press-ups. And I was like, 18 press-ups pretty decent, you know. I was like, I'm not so embarrassed. She goes, no, you get to 17 and then you kind of get up, so you did sort of flake a bit. And I was like, fuck that. But I don't think I've done press-ups in front of anyone since I've maybe been 18 and thought that was cool at the time. You know, whenever you're back in the age where you just, you know, your wee balls and all aren't, they're not developed. Your wee balls and your wee brains aren't developed, and you think, oh, people just love you know what girls love? Seeing guys doing press-ups, and pull-ups and all. I never did them, but, you know, whereas now it's like, that's the worst. You should be scundered by that, and I am. So I was doing press-ups, I was necking pints, I was having a good time, and then all day Thursday, worst day of my life, proceeded to remain hungover for a day after. I had a full 2-day hangover. That then was when as I was getting out of my hangover, right, I thought things were sort of on the up again. You know, I've been through a lot of troughs. I thought I'm due a peak. I'm peaking again. And then I just got really stressed out, like super stressed out again, because I got to bed on Friday night again with the double day hangover. Just thought, go to bed early. I think it was about 9 o'clock I went to bed. Woke up the next day. Oh, in fact, no, that's what it was. Jesus. I was doing a gig on Saturday night, right? And the venue, which was a hotel that we will discuss, had got in touch with me. And when I say months ago, I'm talking like probably 6 or 7 months ago, like a long time ago, to book the date for the show. It was a new hotel. It's called the Cedar Country Hotel, and it's just outside Newton Stewart, which is just outside Oma, right? So the owners got in touch, said, this is not what they said, but this is for the sake of the story. They said, we enjoy what it is that you do. We have a keen interest in seeing what sort of witchcraft you can purvey, and we would be interested for you to arrange some sort of exhibit of your brand of entertainment for us. And I said, sure. Booked the lineup, all good. Was set up a WhatsApp group because I'm 35 for the guys, because basically it's a far out gig. You know, it's And it's not for Bill and Ted, but it's a distance away. So I wanted to just say, listen, guys, this gig's, far away for a lot of us. Since I organised it, I'll drive. You can all hop in with me. We'll have a road trip. We'll shoot the shit. We'll have a good time. Obviously, I'll vlog it because I'm a content creator now. And I did, and it's over on Patreon. But I said that the four acts, right? Three, me and three others, right? And instantly, one of the acts who was supposed to be headlining was like, I've double booked. And my first response was, if I was in, like, if we were in the same company in that moment, I think I might have, punched him right in the face because it was fucking me so hard. Like, so hard. And I was like, okay, let's see if we can get a replacement. And this is on Thursday, bear in mind the gig's on Friday, and this has been arranged for like 7 months. So, my wee hungover state, I just started getting really anxious because this is my go-to emotion at the minute. If something happens, I get this like anxiety and it just hangs with me for like about at least an hour, and then I'm just panicking for like an uncontrollable length of time. So this stressed me out, and then I thought, okay, that's all good. One of the other acts was like, I'm feeling under the weather. Now this act, I will say, real genuine person, big fan of this person as a person and as an act, and they were like, listen, I don't feel good, and that happens sometimes in life. You can go, alright, don't worry about it. So that's all good. Friday, I've got a replacement in for the one that can't do it. Great replacement, more than happy, right? Go to bed on Friday night, 9 o'clock, because I'm on the 2-day hangover because I love Snow Patrol and I love Gary Lightbody, right? And I think the world is the better place. The week's been good. I've had a nice time. I've let my hair down. I'm feeling good. Back to work on Saturday. No stress. Let's go. Wake up on Saturday morning, text, man, I'm sorry, I can't do the gig. Something's come up and I can't get out of it. That was the replacement act, and I was like, oh no. Then the actor was there from the start, still ill. He'd been like, listen, can I see if I'm okay? Not okay in the morning. So I then had already told the venue, we've got a replacement for this person, don't worry. But now I had to find a whole, and like I couldn't find a replacement to acts until the afternoon, and I saw this from the moment I woke up. So from the moment I woke up until the afternoon, about 1 o'clock, it was about 1 o'clock, I was just having a full fucking panic attack all day, and it was horrendous. But then thankfully we got there. I had to leave at 4:30 because it was so far away. So by that stage I was just in a real state of trepidation. I was thinking, oh fuck, we're going to have another absolute nightmare gig like we did the week before. Now here's the thing, usually I don't mind. If I eat shit, which happens sometimes, you deal with it. You get back on stage, you get back up on the horse, so to speak, you plough on. But last week it was so long between gigs and a lot going on, I was just having a real existential crisis, I was just having a real fucking breakdown. And then on the way to this gig, I started thinking, what if this is shit again too? And I've just been getting certain mad anxiety. I'm like, what if this is the worst moment of all time? Didn't say that to the other acts, because that would be counterproductive. But I was panicking, and then thankfully we got to this venue, which I want to tell you a bit about it. This is not an ad, by the way, or a sponsor thing, but in terms of a hotel, the Cedar Country Hotel was absolutely beautiful, like right out in the middle of nowhere. It's on past Oma outside Newton Stewart. It's in the middle of a forest. I'm going to say it's called Turlock Forest. That's probably wrong. Probably just made that up, but it's something like that. There's definitely a T involved somewhere. But this hotel is like a small boutique hotel. It's run by a pair of sisters, which instantly I'm into. That sounded really creepy. Instantly I'm into a pair of sisters. But as a guy who's a dad of a pair of sisters, you know what I mean? I'm like, I like this. I like the family element of it. When I got there, they were like, yeah, that we took this over just before COVID kicked in. So my heart I was like, oh no, it's so bad. But then you could see they'd done such a fucking great job with it. And the hotel was just beaut. Inside it was gorgeous. The decor was great. The food smelled amazing. I didn't get any food because I'm still trying to lose weight. But I was tempted to just get stuck in. And it was great. They had a jacuzzi and a sauna, which is one of the prerequisites of anything that I'll ever agree to do now. It's like, you got to have a sauna, you've got to have a jacuzzi, and you need. I'm like Meatloaf. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. You also need to have a glory hole. They didn't have any glory holes, to my knowledge. But like I said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. It was just a great spot, and it was one of those spots where I was like, I hope the gig goes well, because I would like to come back here when I'm letting my hair down again. I would like to come back here when I'm having a night of leisure. I'd like to come here out of the way with no kids, relax for a bit, have a bite to eat, have a drink at the bar, just sit at the bar. There's some live music after the gig as well. Just sit at the bar, by the fire, having pints of Guinness, and then just sleep in silence with the sound of trees. That was great. So the hotel itself was brilliant. The gig was lovely, and it was just such a relief for me, because that's another thing, obviously, at the minute, with being full time, I've gone into it like 2 feet first. Like, I want to take on any gig I can get, and do whatever I can do. But some of these gigs aren't good. Like, some gigs, they don't have the right setup. Some gigs, they don't have the right tech. They don't have the right, it's just not run well, and it's always a bit of a struggle. Whereas this was just a fucking delight. They had a great space. The tables were well spread out. The room was very big. That was maybe the only. If there was one critique, was the high ceilings. But people were crammed in, having a good time. It was great fun. And I hope that gig will happen again. And if it doesn't, I will be there as a punter, because it was a beautiful hotel. So check out their website. I'll actually put it in the description, because it's worth looking at. It's worth looking at. Read the wee TripAdvisor reviews and everything. And if you are a patron, you'll check out the vlog. I've done like a wee vlog of it too, because it was just fucking great. So that was a nice time, and it gave me a wee bit of positivity into me again, because I think if I have a shit gig, the first thing I want to do is like get right back on stage and gig again, to try to like get over it. Basically, that's my kind of go-to, is like, let's just go get over it, and get back to the being, having good gigs again. And then, because it was a whole week, I just was in my head about how stressful gigs were, and thankfully Saturday has given me good confidence going into the biggest week of my gigs all year, because it's my own fucking solo show. So yeah, I'm feeling much more confident now. I'm looking forward to the work in progress shows. I still need to figure out the running order exactly of where everything's going to go and what it'll look like, but I'm excited about it. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited, and I'm much more positive about the world. So that's all you need to do, guys, sometimes, to feel better about life, is get absolutely fucking shit-faced and take yourself off to the middle of the fucking country. Go to the wilderness, get absolutely shit-faced, get a 3-day hangover, and then just go and hang around with nature for a bit. That's all you need. Speaking of nature, again, I mugged myself hard this morning, because after that gig, I got home. Obviously, it's far away. Got home after 1 last night, set my alarm for 6 to get up and walk the dog. Woke up, to be fair, 6:15. I just let my alarm just ring for 15 solid minutes, which is totally sly when you've got young kids and a wife who works early hours in the hospital for the NHS. Fucking boring. And I got up and walked them. But do you ever just wake up and like you can literally hear the wind just fucking annihilating your window, the wind and rain? I was like, well, this is going to be a day from hell. I may as well get it out and get it over with. So I snuck up when everyone was asleep, stuck on a pair of tracksuit bottoms. Like, I'm a shorts guy. I wear shorts. The only time I don't wear shorts is when I do stand up, probably. So I normally wear the shorts. I had to put the tracksuit bottoms on today. Had to put a fleece on. Had to put waterproofs on. Couldn't find a woolen hat. Just wore a peak cap. But I headed out into the wild, and it was a cold, stormy morning. And I took the dog on a big walk, and at one point I was sort of heading on the road home after about an hour of just walking in this just fucking bitter weather, and I could just feel liquid running down my face. I didn't know whether it was tears, sweat, rain, sea, very salty, whatever it was. But at that point, I just feel it spittle maybe, just going down my face. I'm like, this is absolutely fucking horrendous. Got all my wet clothes off, put my shorts back on, and a t-shirt, my flip flops, just kick about the house, and then like the fucking sea for Noah, Moses, same guys, Moses, the clouds just parted, and the sun came out, and it was just an absolutely fucking gorgeous day. So that was it. Went swimming with the girls, had a nice time, and now I feel fresh and ready to work this week. And this is why we're getting the podcast today on a Sunday, just for a little change, just a little bit outside the box, because this is the thinking of us. But I am hoping everybody is having as nice a time as me, and I hope you're feeling just great. I do hope that, because I know what it was like last week when I was just fucking hating every minute of the day. It's not good. So, if I could say anything to anybody from where I am in my own head now than it was last week, you can ride out the storm. Today was a metaphor, wasn't it? It's not a metaphor or a simile. Today was it was just a lesson, we'll say, because my brain's not fully working. I'm tired. But today was a lesson that, you plough through the storm, the sun will shine again. And that's how I feel this week. I'm picking myself up. I'll be totally honest, I'm still not entirely buzzing. I'm not feeling amazing, but I'm on the up. I'm not at the bottom of the cliff here. I'm back hanging up in the middle somewhere. I did have a cry today. I will point that out. I cried, but we're on the up. Not just like a random cry. I cried, but the reason why I cried was because I watched some of the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert, and I watched his son playing the drums with Foo Fighters, and it made me cry. Because that's the thing, right? See anything I see now that involves kids. Oh no. Anything I see now that involves kids and parents, I kind of just associate that to my own situation. And I had the thought that if I die, imagine Holly filling in for me with bits and pieces at the Ulster Hall next Saturday. She couldn't do it because she's not funny, like, it'd be shit, but I would like the idea of that, and I was just watching his son going, I just want to hug you, wee man, and I'm not in a pervy way, just fucking come here. And it made me cry, I was like, it's just sad. It's fucking sad. Taylor Hawkins was a great drummer as well. It's so shit. But that made me cry, and then once I got the cry to me, I felt good, And then I read a story about Nirvana, actually, which I'll share with you. I think we spoke about this before, many moons ago. But the little boy, the little baby, from the Nevermind album cover, had sued Nirvana, but Nirvana won the lawsuit. So this is the story. So Nirvana won the lawsuit over 1991 Nevermind album cover. A US judge has dismissed the man's latest lawsuit against Nirvana over the band's iconic 1991 album cover, which showed him naked as a baby. Spencer Eldon, sounds like a prick, said his appearance on the front of the Nevermind record constituted child sexual abuse. But the judge said he had left it too late to claim he had been exploited. Mr. Eldon's legal avenues are now all but exhausted, as he cannot refile the case, though his legal team told the US media they'd appeal the ruling. The lawsuit focused on a photograph of Mr. Eldon, which depicted him swimming naked in a pool towards a dollar bill pierced in a fishhook. He argued that he had been unable to consent to the picture being used and was seeking $150,000 in damages. The photographer who took the photo, Kirk Weedle, which mean, or Weddle, not Weedle. Kirk Weedle does sound like the kind of guy who would take pictures of children's dicks, but Kirk Weddle does not. Was among the defendants, as were former Nirvana members Dave Grohl and Chris Novoselic, as well as Courtney Love, the widow of Kurt Cobain. So this kid's just been like, listen, I know you're going through a wee bit here, Dave, at the minute. I know you're upset, but throw me up some dollar, baby. Give me some Skrilla. Baby needs some Skrilla. Baby needs some money tit. He filed the case in 2021, arguing that he was still within his rights to complain about the decades-old image because it had continued to cause him distress and lost earnings in adulthood. Camera cut off for some reason. there's a ghost in here. But yeah, he said lost earnings. So I don't know what earnings he's going to lose based on the fact that he's a naked baby. Like, I don't know what jobs he's going into now, being like, listen, do you want this job? Would you like to be a receptionist? He's like, yeah, I'd be very keen to be a receptionist for this fire station. Very, very open to job. Love firefighting. Love, receptioning. Okay, so let me just go through a few things. For you, do you have Key Stage 3 in computer typing? Yeah, absolutely, I've got that. Do you have a degree level qualification? Yeah, I do. And I just need to double check. You've never posed naked as a child for any album covers for grunge rock bands from Seattle in the early 90s? No? Actually, I did that. Well, I'm sorry. Can't do that. Therefore, loss of earnings. Very weird. But here's the thing. The defence had argued Mr. Eldon had enjoyed being the Nirvana baby, noting that he had reenacted the photo in later life. Now, that's a mug off on his part. The parents were paid $200 for the photo in 1991 by what was then a relatively unknown band. Worldwide sales in Nevermind went on to surpass 30 million, making it one of the best-selling albums of all time. That's a great mug off there. And speaking of him reenacting the photo, quite literally, here is him reenacting the photo, which, by the way, he's a pussy because he's got swim shorts on. If he's going to reenact the photo, he should just be there with his full walt out, just hanging down, recreating the photo. In fact, he's not even recreated the photo. He's just in a swimming pool. There's no dollar bill on the end of the fish hook here. He's not got his dick out. He's just in a swimming pool swimming. The baby on the cover of the artwork said that this time clothes were involved. He said, this is a quote now, I said to the photographer, let's do it naked, but he thought that would be weird, so wore my swim shorts. So even at that, the guy's like, listen, reenact it, but I want my cock out. But the photographer's like, keep your shorts on. I would have insisted. I'd be like, nah, it's only reenactment if the dick is out. Like, people need to see the Nirvana baby's dick all grown up. Very weird. It's not the first time he's been asked to recreate the image, and he's posed 3 times before for the album's 10th, 17th and 20th anniversary. Like, what about that? He's like, I'll put 10 year anniversary, let's recreate that. So what age was he? A baby? So he's 10? That's a bit creepy. Again, unless he's wearing wee swim shorts. Even so, bit weird. 17, or like, would you do, maybe that's because he's 18. Maybe that's what it is. He wanted to be a legal age to get his walt out. His whacker, I nearly said. Mate, do you want to get your whacker out in this photo? Spot on. And then for the 20th anniversary. So yeah, fuck that guy. He clearly's just, I don't know, maybe having a bad time and decided all of a sudden, you know what, I'm gonna just wing it. I'm gonna just wing it, and that's where we're at. But I respect it. I respect that he's had the balls to try and wing that, because he's a fucking chancer. But it's a lot of fun. Guys, listen, I'm gonna blast through the questions here and just go home and work on my show that I'm practicing tomorrow. Becca has asked the question: would you ever worry that your children would want to take up a creative career like comedy, acting, writing, etc., when you've seen the difficulties that can come with it, or would you encourage it? You know what? It's like, yeah, fucking right, I would. See, if they want to do it, I'll encourage it. No matter what it is they want to do, I'll encourage it. If it's within reason. If they're like, I want to be, like, if they go, Dad, I would like to be a witch doctor, I would go, does it pay the bills? And if they're like, yeah, it's lucrative, I'd be like, fucking work away. Let's kill our next door neighbour, and you can use their body as a coat, if that's going to help you earn enough money and be happy. But no, I think, it's weird because I don't want to be a little bitch and moan about it, because I'm very lucky that I do earn a living doing this, and I do love it for the most part. The only bit I don't like is constantly plugging things. That's what I don't like. I like everything else. I love doing stand-up. I love the process of writing. I love all that. I just don't like the whole, come to my show, please buy my tickets. But I know it's part of it. I just find it a little bit gross, and I just wish I could just go, there's a show on sale, and people would just sell it out. That's what I would like to happen. But I know it's a struggle. But if they love it as much as I love it, I would support them entirely. But also knowing that they're not funny, I'd be like, don't worry about it. Naomi has said, to be fair, I wouldn't be a fan either. Now, this could be anything with her. I think we called her last week a recognised creep or something, or an official creep maybe. My girlfriend of 2 years told me the music that I play during sex is weird, a major turn off. Okay, this will be a nice time. When I first started having sex, I researched ways in to be better, as I was a little stiff and pretty much had no idea what I was doing. I read online that if you play music and match the rhythm in order, you can deliver a better performance. I searched love-making songs and started slowly creating a playlist which I was comfortable matching the rhythm. There are a few songs on my playlist, however, there's one particular song that actually happens to be my favourite and my girlfriend hates. I don't understand why it's taken her 2 years to tell me she hates the song. It's a good love-making song with a good rhythm. I need to find out what this song is. Yeah. What is this? I've gone on the YouTube here. It's gonna be a mug off here. What is the song? For sex. Oh no. Ads on YouTube make me, I don't know. Here we go. It's building up. Hudson Mohawk is the song that this guy's shagging to. Oh no. I mean, it sounds like a child's TV show. Oh no. I mean, that would definitely wouldn't make you feel very sexy. I'll play you the song that I like to have sex to in terms of rhythm. Let me see. Where is it? So yeah, whenever I occasionally make love, this is the song that I like to, keep my beat going to. Yeah, see that pedal drum? And then by this stage, the sex is over. Yes, People Equal Shit by Slipknot. Very, very quick. Or the Undertaker's theme song, if I want to flip it the other way. Bong. Bong. And again, over in two dongs. Two dongs and two bongs, that's all you need for my sex songs. Two dongs and two bongs is all you need for my sex songs. Someone write that, please. Joanna said, what's the weirdest thing about living in Bangor? This, my nose switchy. I'm gonna have a fight with somebody. My wife probably, when she listens to this episode. What's the weirdest thing about living in Bangor? The fact that the weirdest thing about living in Bangor is that it's a little secret. Oh, my nose! It's a mustache hair. It's just curling up into my nose. So anytime I speak, it's tickling me. Right. The weirdest thing about living in Bangor is the fact that not more people live in Bangor, because Bangor is brilliant. There you go. That's it. I love Bangor. I love the people. I love most of the people. I love the coastline. I just love the energy. I love the vibe. But what's anything else weird about Bangor? It's not really that weird. It's just great. What do you think? Let me pose a question to you. I want to know, Joanne, in your opinion, what is the weirdest thing about living in Bangor? Please let me know. Probably that it's a city now, to be fair. Ashley has said, what do you think Boris will do for his leaving party this week? Whatever. Probably Ket. He'll do Ket off the Chancellor's box. And I mean, the box that the fucking budget's kept in, not the vagina of the Chancellor, because I believe the Chancellor's a dude. But not to say he doesn't have a fanny, who knows? He's a Tory. Probably his pussy on him for sure. Jack has said, Arsenal to win the league, or will they flop? Yeah, they got mugged today by fucking dirty United bastards. VAR cheating scumbag. Whoa. But no, I mean, I don't think they'll win the league. I don't. I think Man City will win the league comfortably, but I think Arsenal will hopefully contest the top four, because I would love us to be in the Champions League. again next year. Patrick, ending on this note, has said, no question, but wanted to remind you that you're achieving things you and many others dream of in a 9 to 5, and you should be extremely proud. I appreciate that. Your girls and wife must surely be. I mean, not entirely. You know, my girls don't really know what I do. That's the funny thing. They're like, my mummy's a nurse, and they're like, what's your dad do? He leaves the house when I go to bed. It's like, oh, your dad just is, gigolo, I guess, or some. Your dad's a prostitute, which in some regards I am, but instead of, I am offering people good times for money. So yeah, I am a prostitute. I'm a mirth prostitute. But it must be stressful and draining at times, but nothing worth having comes easy. Keep your head up and remember how far you've come. Patrick, yes, what a way to end this week's podcast. It was a bit different this week. Again, I'm far too hot the whole way through it, but listen, that's life. And maybe in the next couple of weeks, I'll just do a topless podcast, or a bottomless podcast, or a naked podcast, and just stick it straight up on Patreon. Guys, I hope you have a good week. Thank you again for listening. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate when people listen to the podcast. I do appreciate when people share it out there. I do appreciate it when I still know that when times are tough, people are out there and they like this thing that we do. It's cool to me to know that people are listening to this, and I hope it brings you some joy, because I know having you guys brings me joy. So please rate and review the podcast on Spotify or Apple. Got one this week, new review. Forgot to read it. We'll read it next week. Guys, take care of yourselves. I love yous. Until next week. Au revoir.
I'm the sly guy.